Okay, let's take care of the movie review, and then we'll get out of here.
In a world of movie references flying over his head, one man will finally watch them. This is the Matt and Blonde Show movie review.
This week's movie is the 2012 sci-fi thriller Dredd, in which Cersei Lannister leads a gang that takes over a sprawling apartment building in a future dystopian megacity. A determined lawman defies death to try to stop her, and a chick cop learns that even with superpowers, she is not up for the job. From movie picker Adam. It's a cool, mindless shooter, much like John Wick, but let's be honest, who hasn't imagined himself as judge, jury, or executioner in vigilante justice, cleansing the world of vice and evil? This is the inevitable end to abolishing the police. Your thoughts and your rating?
Yeah, I feel like I cannot give Dredd an appropriate review because I did not see the original with Sylvester Stallone. I even messaged you. I'm like, are you sure we're supposed to watch the 2012 one?
Yeah, it's a remake, but I was clear that it was the intent was the 2012.
And I'm not familiar with is it a comic?
I believe so. I'm not familiar with the comic either.
Which, does that impact the quality of this review? Probably. I mean, shouldn't I have familiarity with all of these? I don't know. Maybe not. Nonetheless, I will try. And I liked it. I like this gritty cinematography and the ultra violence. I think that this might be the most violent movie maybe I've ever seen.
Hacksaw Ridge was pretty gnarly, though.
This was really violent.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like artistic violence, so maybe it's a different thing. And I liked all this stuff with the slow-mo and everything. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I liked the female leads.
Wow, all of them. So
I did, yeah.
And the chick cop, the psychic chick cop.
I liked that the chick cop, even though she had this incredible superpower, was still limited by her physical size. Like, she still couldn't compete, you know. And then I liked that Mama, that her entire character was a manifestation of her own sexual abuse in this dystopian future. I thought that was kind of a nice nod to her character development. But it didn't bother me that there were two female leads. And then Dredd, I thought it was such like an unpretentious performance. Like, you don't get to know him very well, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't take away from the plot. I thought this was a really solid movie, kind of unremarkable, but I thought it was pretty solid. I'm 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. 3 out of 5 probably, but I liked it a little more than that.
We are right in the same ballpark.
Okay.
I think our tastes are merging, except for Life of Brian, and except for Dogma. But yeah, I had generally similar thoughts that not just that the action was compelling, but that it was creative and artistic. And the slow-mo scenes, slow-mo is the drug that gives the user the perception that time is operating at 1% speed. And to capture that, or to present that,
sounds horrible.
They did a lot of technical things to film, in addition to using high-tech cameras that can capture images that look good at such slow speed. They achieved a lot of these effects of people getting shot and getting hit in the slow-mo world by using compressed air and a whole bunch of other effects, some of which were digital, some were practical, but it still was very cool. And even the technicals that went into the color alteration of that world, kind of these super saturated select colors that give it almost this prismatic or rainbow effect. I thought it was really cool because it produced a drug-like effect, but it didn't feel like over the top or distracting or confusing.
But it did kind of confine it to an era in film.
Yeah.
Like you could throw me into that movie and I'd be like, this was made in the mid 2000s.
Yeah,
range,
I suppose. It's kind of that combination of like practical effects plus somewhat early digital that still.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell like the bullets penetrating the faces. You could tell it's kind of video gamey, but I think it still looked pretty good. I was impressed with it, and I enjoyed it without thinking, okay, that looks fake and stupid.
Yeah.
And I liked I also liked the death of Mama, even though it was very long. Like a lot of these slow motion deaths, it took forever for her to fall down that thing. And I was wondering the whole time she's falling down the atrium, are they going to show the impact? And then slowly but surely her face just melts to the concrete floor and becomes a blood splatter. Yeah. It's weird because it was very violent, but in an artistic way that wasn't I don't know. It didn't give you that like gut level kind of sickening reaction.
Yeah.
It was it's just very unique and memorable. That's all I can say is it was a very memorable presentation. And so I give it high marks for that. The things I didn't necessarily like, the whole concept, I expected I was going to get into a movie about the philosophy of justice and this whole judge, jury, and executioner concept.
Not much about that, was there?
You had those corrupt judges, and there's maybe some theme there that when you define and administer justice unilaterally, you don't really get that. I thought that was going to happen, that was going to be more explored, and it really wasn't. It ended up being just more of a shoot 'em up, as the nominator Adam said, kind of a shoot 'em up John Wick style movie without that depth. Doesn't mean I didn't like it. It just means it left some plot opportunity on the table to me. That said, it didn't waste my time, and I appreciate that. The only other thing I didn't like, I think the helmet is just stupid and goofy. I thought the helmet is in a movie of otherwise cool aesthetics. I thought the helmet was bulky and weird, and it had like crossbars over the eyes, which didn't make any sense.
You mean like the utility of the helmet or the actual design of the helmet?
The appearance of it is silly and stupid. And
I like that his face was covered. It gave like a good distance from the actor.
I could see that. I could see that being the intent. But the other thing I didn't like is all the other tech had all these cool features. The gun can switch fire modes and has all sorts of different ammunition. He wears this highly identifiable, all the judges do, this highly identifiable helmet with sort of a weird design, but there's no technical capabilities of it ever displayed. It's just it's a weird chunk of whatever on his head that doesn't really do anything.
That's true.
And looked kind of stupid. And it's a petty point. It doesn't really impact the substance of the movie. It's just the more serious they tried to act in those helmets, the more it came off as a joke to me. So I was not a fan of that. But
what'd you give it?
I rated it right about where you did. If I did halves, I probably would have given it a 3.5.
Hey.
And that rounds up to a 4.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
And as you mentioned, in a world of movies that often make us endure like an unnecessary hour of torture when the movie sucks, this is one that is in and out quick. It's about an hour and a half. And
yeah, I appreciate that.
I was entertained. There wasn't any part of the movie where I thought this is boring nonsense. I was entertained throughout. So
yeah, me too.
I'll give it higher marks than not, even if I'm rating it maybe a little too highly. Because there's a lot of good movies I've given a 4 that I'm not sure if this is quite there. But anyway.
I'm finding the audience picks like... I guess I'm finding them a little baffling, but I guess the whole point of the review segment is to expose you to culturally relevant films.
This one is kind of a cult movie. It flopped at the box office.
I had never heard of it before.
It's actually new to me too, and I thought the same thing. How did I never hear about this movie even? And it's because it was kind of a marketing failure. They apparently did not market it well. People didn't see it in theaters. It's been appreciated after the fact, but when it was released, it was not a big deal. People are mostly in line with us, 4 and 5s, majority 4 and 5 ratings.
Erudite is our audience, though. Is anybody going to put on a list and vote for like Andrei Rublev or anything like that? Are we ever going to see any of these fantastic classic films, or is it all going to be stuff like this?
It depends. Depends who gets picked as the nominator and what the audience votes for. But
come on,
next
guys.
week, I'm sure you've seen this movie, and I have a long time ago. But Office Space is up next week.
I don't even think I'm going to need to rewatch that. I've seen it.
I like Mike Judge, and so I've seen. I hardly remember anything about it though, so it'll be a good opportunity to watch again. I expect to appreciate it, but I don't know. We'll see. After that, the nominations for February are from listener Charles. It's a new list as of last week. Nominations are The Fifth Element, Predator, The Big Lebowski, RoboCop, Rear Window, Network, and Snatch. As an aside and a note, I forgot to include Snatch on last week's vote, so my apology for that. And you can go vote for Snatch, which is a weird thing to say, but you can vote for that if you're looking to watch that movie, and we'll make the jokes later. As a reminder, if you'd like to read my movie reviews, comment on how wrong I am, submit your own rating, vote for the next movie, and sign up for the chance to be the movie nominator for the month. The one and only place to do it is in my weekly movie review column, linked in the description and on the homepage of the website. That's mattchristiansenmedia.com.